Hey everybody, it's Sean from the Canadian Brewing Channel. How are you doing today? I decided to make a video today about how to keep home brewing. I started this hobby way back in the 90s, the early 90s, and I did it because I was poor at the time and I wanted to make cheap beer. That's why I did it. I did it for maybe a year or so, and I quit for two main reasons. And the first reason was that the kits weren't very good back then, and the second reason was that it took so long to do, and I thought my time's worth more than that. And as I made more money in my job, I just stopped doing it. And it wasn't until about 5-6 years ago I did it again. Maybe 8 years ago, there were some new kits that came out, and they were a little better, but it was still looking for cheap beer. And if you brew beer and you're putting the majority of from anywhere from 3 to 6 hours, depending on if you're all grain brewing or extract brewing, that's a lot of time to get a couple cases of beer out of you, right? So I stopped brewing again. It wasn't until I got into the all grain brewing, which I do right now, that it opened up my world to knowing I can make any beer that I want, any style. And then YouTube came along. Well, YouTube's been around for a while, but I started watching the videos, reading more, and I really got into it. And I've been doing it now non-stop for over 3 years, I believe, and it's been rewarding. So I wanted to go through why you can end up just stopping brewing. So you have to ask yourself, not how to homebrew, but why should you homebrew? Why do you want to homebrew is the most important question. I asked myself that this time, and it was why I'm still doing it. I've got like recipes. I love to cook. Okay, I cook at home. I'm the one who cooks. I love to find different recipes online and try them, and I find it rewarding. All the recipes that are out there, the thousands and tens of thousands of recipes, I think, okay, of a beer recipe, I'm gonna try this because it sounds good, and it ends up tasting amazing. And it's like, wow, why didn't I do this since I started brewing 30 years ago? Because I didn't realize, why do I homebrew? Beers I can't get. I've been to Germany. I was lucky enough to be in Germany during the big festival, right? Oktoberfest. And I had beers that I thought, these are amazing. And now I can't get them here. And if they're the main brand beers that do come over here, they're aged by the time they get here, and they're almost stale. I can make them fresh here. That's another reason why I homebrew. I've got the challenge. It is a challenge. If you don't like a challenge, then you probably shouldn't get into home brewing, because there's times where you're trying to figure out, what did I do right to make this beer the way it is? And that's why you have a recipe, you write everything down and what you did, or what did I do wrong? And you gotta figure that out. That's the challenge. That's why I homebrew. Cheap beer? No. That is why I stopped homebrewing a long time ago. I thought it was just to give me cheap beer. And everybody who asks me about homebrewing that doesn't understand about homebrewing will say, how long does it take to make a beer? And I tell them, well, I can usually, if I keg it, I can have a beer within a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks. They go, really, that long? I'm like, that's pretty quick. People looking for the instant today. That's not homebrewing. And it's not about how fast it is. It's the quality of it, how good it is, that you like to show it off to your friends. That's what you want, not cheap beer. People quit because, well, I'd say time is a big one. I dedicate the majority, not the majority of a whole day, but like on a Saturday. If I'm going to brew on a Saturday, I'll get up at 7 in the morning and I'll do my whole brew, which is from cleaning to prepping, brewing and putting everything away. It's about 5 hours. So we're talking, it's noon now. I like to do it then because I've got the rest of the day to do what I need to do. But it's 5 hours, and that's just to get the beer started. Then when I got to keg it or I have to bottle it, there's another couple hours. So there's 7 hours. People would say, I'm not doing that. People get bored. If you're getting bored at it, it means you're not asking yourself why you want to homebrew. There's a lot of cleaning involved, and I think that's a big one. And then when I first started homebrewing with all grain, and I realized how many steps there are to do it, and all the stuff I got to clean and throw the grain away somewhere. Where's the spent grain go? That's a challenge, but I still wanted to homebrew because I wasn't asking how to homebrew. Why am I homebrewing? See, didn't ask why they wanted to do this, so that's what I'm saying. You have to ask yourself why. Your spouse or significant other is important. If your spouse is the type of person who has their own hobbies and they want you to have a hobby, or they're always supportive of you, that's a good thing. But if you're just starting out, you're probably going to be in the kitchen. That can get a little dicey. I'm the cook in the house, so kitchen's kind of my area anyway, but I make sure that I cleaned up the sticky floors, or that's going to upset your spouse, right? Not getting the results quick enough, that's another one too. People think that I'm going to be brewing great beers right off the bat. No, I've probably brewed about 75 to 100 batches of beer my whole life in the last 30 years, but I did have a stint of about 20 years where I wasn't brewing, so I've brewed about 50 batches in the last 2 or 3 years. Pretty consistent, and that is what's made me a better brewer. But that's a lot of time I've invested, and it takes a while to get good at it. And now I'm at the level, I'm pretty confident. I feel like I'm more of an intermittent brewer, not a intermediate brewer, not a advanced ever. Forget that. That's like hitting your black belt. But I have friends that try my beers and they go, "This is really good." When I first started brewing, it was like, yeah, this is okay, but they're just being polite. So that is why I still like the homebrew. Not interested in science and biology. I love science. I love biology. I think it's amazing how things work together. You know, the yeast and how the temperatures and times that you use the different recipes. And to me, I'm enthralled by it. I think it's amazing, and I love science. I love biology, and it keeps me interested in it. A lot of the homebrewers you see on YouTube that are the big channels, or the ones that I subscribe to, you find out some of these guys used to be rocket scientists. I think Brad Smith still is a rocket scientist. Larry, Barbecue Beer and Larry, Beer and Barbecue Larry, he is an astro science engineer. I can't recall now, but they're all these guys. A lot of them are biologists, or they're a scientist, or they're an engineer. I'm not. I'm a refrigeration mechanic, but I love how things work. I love to know how things work, and that's why I still homebrew. So this video, I just want to throw out there, you guys, I don't know how long I've been chatting for, probably 7 or 8 minutes. I just want to let you guys know that if you get into this hobby, you need to ask yourself why you want to homebrew, not what you want to homebrew, or how it's done. You need to ask yourself why. That is what I did, and I know now I'm going to homebrew until the end of my life, hopefully. So I just wanted to bring this video out there, guys, and it's Sean, Canadian Brew Channel. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos, and I hope to see you guys back soon. Thanks. Bye.